The journey of a former president is often imagined as a quiet retreat into history, but for George H.W. Bush, leaving the White House was the beginning of a profoundly human new chapter. Stripped of the title and trappings of office, he faced a jarring transition to private life in Houston, where making his own coffee and walking the dogs replaced managing global crises. The loss was palpable, a feeling compounded by personal tragedies that struck in quick succession: the death of his mother and the passing of Ranger, his beloved White House dog. Watching his favorite boat destroyed in a storm seemed to symbolize it all, leaving him to quietly observe the tides of a life that felt suddenly adrift. Yet, this period of introspection and adjustment gradually gave way to a renewed sense of purpose, deeply rooted in family. The political rise of his sons, particularly George W. Bush's journey to the presidency, filled him with immense pride. He campaigned with fervor, though he learned to temper his fatherly boasts, and experienced the unique perspective of watching his son assume the role he once held. His empathy extended beyond his family circle. After the bitterly contested 2000 election, he felt compelled to call Al Gore, offering consolation from one who knew the sting of national defeat. His world expanded through extensive travel, where he was still received with the respect accorded a head of state, dining with emperors and prime ministers. But one trip stood apart: a pilgrimage to the remote Japanese island of Chichijima, where he had been shot down during World War II. There, he finally made peace with the ghosts of his past, laying wreaths for fallen crewmates in waters that had once nearly claimed his life. Perhaps the most remarkable evolution of his later years was the blossoming of an unlikely friendship with his former political rival, Bill Clinton. Brought together by President George W. Bush to lead humanitarian efforts after the 2004 Asian tsunami, the two men discovered a deep mutual respect and affection. Clinton's kindness and Bush's paternal warmth dissolved old animosities, forging a bond that became a symbol of bipartisan camaraderie. They traveled the world for charitable causes, their partnership demonstrating that service could transcend politics. Bush's life was further defined by countless small, personal acts of kindness, handwritten notes, quiet encouragement, and an unwavering focus on others, a trait he displayed even on his deathbed. His later years were also marked by a defiant, joyful embrace of adventure, most famously through skydiving. Each leap, particularly on his milestone 90th birthday, was a celebration of life and a refusal to be limited by age. Through it all, he was sustained by his devotion to his wife, Barbara, and his sprawling family. George H.W. Bush's post-presidency reveals that a legacy is not cemented solely by years in power, but by the character displayed in the decades that follow. It is a story of resilience, humility, and the enduring power of human connection, showing how a man, after reaching the pinnacle of power, discovered his fullest meaning in the roles of father, friend, and compassionate citizen.